Welcome to Cornwall Art Hives in the Artist Studio. Today we have the privilege of being invited to the studio of Brett Desrosiers. Brett has a Bachelor of Arts with honors in theater arts and a concentration in world religious studies. She currently works as a drama teacher and is a textile artist. Hello, Brett.
Why, hello, Richard.
Thank you for inviting us to your beautiful studio.
Why?
As you at home can see, we have some lovely art from Brett hanging on the walls. Mm-hmm. And we have some questions for you, Brett.
Okay, no problem. I'm ready to go. Go.
When and how did you realize that textile arts and drama was something you wanted to pursue?
Well, I actually started getting into theater whenever I was really young. And theater actually helped me out because I needed to undergo speech therapy a lot because of my hearing disability. So drama actually ended up kind of blending in with what I was already doing. So that's really great. And then whenever I was around 11, I started to do those friendship bracelets, and I became really fascinated with just making and creating. And then as a teenager, I ended up with like a small little macrame business with hemp jewelry, which was the rage from the grunge scene into the 90s. Yeah, so that's where it started.
You were an entrepreneur at 11.
Yes, I was that weird child who would make like flower necklaces and then make hemp necklaces and sell them off to teachers and friends of my parents. I was the weird child. And then I started making actually for like a skateboard shop in town, as well as a local coffee shop that used to be on Pitt Street, and I was doing that like 15, 16.
Really?
Yeah. So I've been kind of having this business since I was fairly young. Oh my gosh, 25 years.
And you create these works on commission?
I do create on commission. I also create as well for different art shows. As we all know, COVID has kind of slowed down on the market in regards to doing actual fairs and markets. So I usually create especially jewelry for events like Food Fest or Trunk Sale and different events like that. Used to be at Williamstown Fair all the time. So yeah.
So before the COVID time.
Yes, the before time.
You were doing shows every weekend.
Oh, pretty much. I was doing like fairs, and I was also acting and directing performances as well on the weekends.
Well, let's talk about that for a bit. Mm-hmm. I've performed with you in improv. I mean, we've actually visited places and been paid for doing it, which still blows my mind.
During the before of our times.
Yeah, so I know that you do improv, but you do a lot more than that. Can you tell us about that?
So, ever since I was in theater school, I actually got hired by one company called Eddie Mae Murder Mysteries. So I used to actually travel and do murder mysteries with different people across Eastern Ontario.
That was right out of university, wasn't it?
During too.
Oh.
Yeah, I was the one who had to be like, is it okay if I take my test tomorrow because I have a performance tonight, Professor? I'm being paid to act, so please let me.
I imagine as a student it's pretty hard to turn that down.
Exactly, and they also would feed us, so that was really helpful, especially as a starving artist. Being fed Atlantic salmon, and you're just like, okay, I will never have this again.
And you're still doing them as COVID allows, right?
Yes. Well, right now we had some bookings, but they all got canceled, unfortunately, because I now do a lot of murder mysteries with Murder on the Funny Side. I've been directing their shows in the past couple of years and acting in them. Usually I do the support roles because I prefer to be the comedic relief in a performance.
I can see from our battery that we have one more question left.
Okay.
For this segment. You not only do murder mysteries, you're putting on a lot of acting workshops, you're doing them online.
I'm doing them online. We're officially able to do them in person I'm still keeping a lot of things online just in case because of COVID and the situation in the world. And also what's really cool is whenever I do them online, people can access from like different communities like Ottawa. I had people reach out from Alberta. So at least then people can actually join in and learn something new and
That's
enjoy
awesome.
being creative on the spot, and being silly is always fantastic.
Yeah, Zoom is an awesome platform for doing things like that.
It can be stressful, and I know it's stressful for some kids, but I also found it has helped some of my shyest kids to actually come out of their shell. And I see benefits, I see drawbacks, but I also see benefits of it. It's that connecting, especially when we cannot connect in person.
While we're on this subject, how about a shameless plug for your website where people can sign up for these things?
www.missd.ca.
All right, I can see it's time to swap out the battery, so we're going to pause this for a moment. All right, we're back with Brett. And my next question is, are there any, my next question is, where do you see yourself in 5, 10, 50 years?
In 5 years, I can picture myself possibly owning my own theater space. That is an ultimate goal. And keeping connections with both Ottawa and other communities to run programming. What's the next number?
10 years.
10 years! Okay, sorry, I just shouted.
That's okay.
In 10 years, I can see myself possibly expanding and continuing on and possibly training the next generation. In 50 years, I definitely do picture myself being, you know the Hannibal Lecter scene where they bring him in and he's just like this with the mask? Well, I won't have the mask on because I'm not a biter, but I picture myself being brought in. I'm so sorry, Richard. I picture myself being wheeled in like that and like propped up and like being a professor at a university, being like, once in a day, and then people will have to translate for me.
Sort of like the Stephen Hawking of art.
Yes. Oh, Stephen Hawking.
Yes.
We should probably remove that.
Um,
But I can picture myself being wheeled in and, I will keep going until...
They're never going to shut you up, is what you're saying.
I will make sure that my body is put on a robot, or my head is put on a robot, cryogenically frozen, just to...
A head in a glass.
Yes. And I'll just talk like... Why do I turn into an old British man? I don't know in this scenario.
I think we all do. Okay. What advice do you have for new artists starting out?
Advice is research. Honestly, the best thing to do is actually to figure out how to write grants for yourself, to figure out, expand your thought, think outside of the box, because honestly, sometimes you may not do the one thing that you wanted to do. Like, I'm not traveling, backpacking on stilts across Prague. That was the goal. Instead, I actually had a family while in university. So things changed, right? And sometimes you have to think outside the box. I decided to work with kids because I started having kids, and kids are awesome. So you'll always have to think outside the box. You always have to go beyond what people tell you to do, if that makes sense. Yeah.
It does to you, and that's all
Yes.
that matters. All right, then let me back up a little bit. When you talk about research,
So think about researching how you can get an agent. Think about researching how you can actually have your art be seen. Think about where you can go with this. You have to just keep going, keep plugging. Also, one big thing is I learned how to write plays as a way to keep surviving. So you have to think outside the box, and you have to just... I find what I've learned is you may have one vision, but in order to survive in the arts, you have to have several different visions to help guide you into the path that you want. If that makes sense.
You've certainly embraced that. I mean, you're doing workshops online, you're doing workshops in person as COVID allows. You're working with the developmentally disabled through programs at Beyond 21 and Beyond 21.
Yes, I've done stuff with Autism Ontario. I'm running right now an online program for their youth and teens. And you just have to think outside the box. And I've done stuff for Tamir up in Ottawa. I've done things for New Leaf in the Kingston area. You have to think beyond just being like a thought of what you might be, because you'd be surprised at what you can actually achieve by just opening up your mind.
I know you're not doing them right now, but you produce a lot of smalls, they call them, for sale at events and shows and at the pods they have set up in downtown Cornwall. You were doing that every weekend. I'm assuming you kept doing it because it was relatively lucrative. You were making money at it.
Mm-hmm. It's also a big thing too, is like people will see my work and they'll be like, wait, can my kid learn from you? And I found that has actually helped me out,
right,
because it was a good way to also, I'm not going to say exposure because I hate that term. It was a good way to actually get people to book classes, if that makes sense.
It does.
Mm-hmm. And it's really fun, and I'm always happy whenever somebody actually enjoys a piece that I create, because there's a little bit of me in there.
Right.
Including my DNA.
I won't ask.
Sorry. I'm just saying it because, cells from like whenever you're making.
Yes.
Yes.
No, I understood.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
Yes.
so we're going to close this section. We're going to
Okay.
move on to actually looking at some of the pieces you're producing, and hopefully you can tell us something about them.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we're back with Brett Desrosiers, who's going to show us one of her pieces and what goes into making it.
Mm-hmm. This is really quite cool. I've been trying to make sure that I actually have materials that are Canadian made.
Awesome.
So I've been really, really working hard at trying to keep my stuff Canadian made. I know sometimes it's hard to because I am also using old supplies from the past, but this piece can be said is Canadian made because it's made by me too. I get the frame from another textile artist. They
Right.
they solder these frames. One thing I will eventually be doing is soldering my own because my husband actually has the equipment to do that.
Right.
The material is actually really cool. This is recycled cotton,
Oh,
which I think is really cool. I try and also keep any ends for other pieces in the future.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can make different projects like earrings, macrame feathers with the end pieces that you cut. In this piece, I'm being very hippie. I created a lotus flower.
really? Where?
Yes, right here.
Oh.
It's a lotus. It's if it was with a little bit of the thinner material, it would be a little bit more noticeable. I try to think outside the box, and I try to create something that can be my own.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Okay.
Yes.
Now,
And
moving on.
As you can see, I am currently working on an eyeball. The eyes have been very popular. They are fun to create and something very, very unique and different. This one is a mirror, so you can look into it.
Right. I'm just looking at your knots here.
Yeah, this will build up, and then I will be doing different patterns in here.
Very cool. What else would you like to show us?
Well, this is a Cedar Star made with cedars from local artist Robin. I go through her, the Crayon Box Collective Studio. I go through her cedar hedges and gather the cedar branches and sticks that have fallen.
So you raid your neighbor's backyard.
Well, she's not my neighbor, but she's an awesome artist. That's local. And then I also this is natural jute and pine cones from my neighbor's yard.
Oh,
They're really tiny pine cones, and she has like the biggest pine tree in the
Very
neighborhood.
and Is that another lotus, or that's just a...
No, it's just like a little... If I had added a bead, it would look more like a flower.
Oh, geez, I can smell the hemp or the twine or whatever it is from here.
Yes. It's
Awesome.
very hippie.
Mm-hmm. Lovely. All right, what else can we look at?
Well, this one's really cool. It's
I don't know if
actually
we can get
purple. If
this
you can
one
get
in the
shade.
light.
I was tempted to add skulls, but I did not. They're made with dried flowers, as well as local pine cones from different artists here, and some moss, and recycled cotton, including purple cotton and off-white cotton.
It's lovely. Mm-hmm. And I noticed there's stones in each of them.
Yes, I try to add stones to my pieces because you don't always see that. If that makes sense.
What else do we want to look at?
Well, this is my this is kind of fun. This is my ode to the Golden Girls meets the Magical Fairy Forest. I call this one the Bea Arthur because it has a steampunk element, and I could picture Bea Arthur if she was still alive dressing in steampunk and giving attitude and sarcasm.
Yeah.
And this is once again to this little star here is one of my Magical Fairy Forest meets the Golden Girls, and this one is called Shady Pines Ma, in honor of what Bea Arthur would yell at Sophia whenever Sophia will say something kind of annoying or offensive. Shady Pines Ma.
Oh, as in where she's going to put
Yeah.
it.
Because she escapes from Shady Pines. I am so sorry I had to rewatch Golden Girls during the pandemic.
Oh, I'm pretty sure everyone did. Mm-hmm. And what's this one?
This is called I Will Go Chasing Waterfalls. Thank you very much.
Uh-huh.
This is I really am obsessed with colors. You may see it, you may not. I have a tendency, I try not to do neutrals, but I know a lot of people enjoy neutrals, so I do them. But whenever I can, I will create something that's colorful.
Right.
And I love vibrancy, and I love just including different materials in this, including this really vibrant agate.
It is. It's lovely.
And I make
They call that
clouds.
ocean picture stone, don't
Yeah.
they?
So cool. And I like little fluffy clouds.
Oh, that's so pretty. That one's got an agate on it as well. Mm-hmm. And it's very rainbowy in a
Yes.
pastel-y, fluorescent sort of a way.
I
I love these fluffy yarns.
Yeah, fluffiness is fun.
This one's amazing. This is a tree of life, is it
Yes,
not?
it is a tree of life. I should probably add a stone to it. I think that would help pop it.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I tried to do something a little different.
So you macramate around the threads.
Yes, because this one is roving yarn, and roving yarn can be difficult to weave through things because they have a tendency to tear apart.
Right.
So you have to be really careful, and sometimes you have to replace a thread that breaks, so you have to tear apart a piece.
So it's not as strong as a more densely packed
Yes,
thread. Okay.
exactly.
And what else do we want to see today?
Stabby point points.
I don't know if we've got the light for these, but we'll give it a try.
Should we angle these?
Sure.
Oops. Is this better?
Much. All right.
Fly away
Stabby,
with it.
stabby, point, point. was
Yes.
The name of this one.
So Stabby point is made with recycled cotton. This is a wood ring, and these are the cedars from Robin's cedar hedges.
Right.
And I don't know why, but I really wanted to make a big statement piece called Stabby Point. Has different types of pine cones, and I love these ones because they look like flowers.
Right. They do, actually.
And recycled cotton.
Very cool. Okay. Anything else?
Of course I make plant hangers and stuff like that because I'm a hippie. Who would have thought that plant hangers would come back around? When I started to make them 8 years ago, I was like, really? And people were like, yes, I need plant hangers. Now I
This
still
one's
make
interesting
them.
too.
That is part of my Magical Fairy Forest meets the Golden Girls. This one is the Sophia. And I used a really beautiful piece of crystal.
It is. Is that colored or is that natural?
I got it locally, so I didn't see whether or not it was actually dyed. But it is really funky.
It is. It's awesome.
It's one of those aura quartz.
This will give you a good aura.
And once
Okay.
Recycle copy.
All right.
Awesome.
Can we take a peek at your area, or is it not in
It's
presentable
just,
condition?
It's kind of crazy. I have orders going out in art supplies. This one will be done for someone. This is something I'm working on,
Right.
just in case.
How long does it take just to knot those strings on in preparation for knotting them?
Oh my gosh, I find the cutting of the material takes a long time, and once I'm in the groove, I can make something. You have to be in the groove.
Right.
I can make something. Something like this would be about 3 hours solid.
Really? And is that yours next to it as
Yeah,
well?
I'm gonna be. I was thinking about making this for my front door.
Oh, it's lovely. Look at the
I like colors.
shades on that. The blues and the
And
greens.
someone just gave me some sari, silk sari.
Is
So
that
I'm
what that
going to
is?
add it. It's this material. I'll find it. Don't go near me.
No, I'm just going to take in some of this while we're
Yeah, my
waiting for you to
space is
say
like
sorry.
everything else. Materials like this sari.
Oh my.
My area is a little chaotic right now because I have a bunch of custom orders to take out.
Chaos is good. Chaos
Most
is the sign of a
artists are
creative
very
mind.
chaotic.
I'm just trying to give people a sense of.
It's a
Aw.
sock monkey.
It's a shock monkey.
I've been making jewelry for kids for a very long time.
And we've got displays of
Witches' bells over here.
witches' bells. Very cool. And a couple of eyeballs getting
Yeah.
ready for the go
They'll
here.
be prepped. And this is kind of cute. This is a small plant hanger. Wait, where's the front? And you put, as I can't do it,
No,
just because I'm
of course not.
stressed.
We haven't rehearsed that.
Yeah, there we go. This is a little plant hanger. Isn't that cute?
Yeah.
It's a little mountain scene.
I'm just looking at all the knots that go into that. I mean, it's the same amount of knots for a small piece as
Yeah.
it is a big one, right?
The thing is I actually, one of my favorite things is macrame,
Right.
which is making small things. So I will actually like take a piece and make a small version of something that somebody would make big, if that makes sense. Like,
Right.
this is a little tiny wreath.
Oh, hold on a sec.
Oh, sorry.
It's
Yeah,
okay.
and those are some of the pieces that need to go out. This is a little wreath.
It's lovely. So intricate. All right, so any parting words that you want to share with our audience as we wrap up this magnificent tour of your magnificent studio?
Oh, sorry, I'll move this. Be creative.
Be creative.
Take some time for yourself and create something.
All right.
Whether it's writing, whether it's acting, whether it's creating a piece of visual art, textile art, anything. Be yourself and be creative.
Awesome. Thank you again for this wonderful tour and for being our guinea pig on this new series.
Yes.
Thank you for joining us. And goodbye from Cornwall Art Walks in the Artist Studio.
Just gonna go this way and my hamster wheel.
Okay. Bye, Brett. Thanks again.